Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Kenny. I mean, I guess I'll just open it up with an opening statement. We'll get it out there on the table. Look, I'm messed up. I got to man up to it. I think it's time to come out and address this video once and for all. I just started from the very beginning, just the background of it. So we had this COVID layoff, and so I logged into the TikTok, and I made my dance. It was meant to be only for close personal friends. That was the intended audience for this video. Obviously I threw some moves out there on the dance floor, probably not children appropriate, and I understand I have a responsibility as a leader of this organization to make things right. And of course, Mr. Brown, Chris Brown, was the first person that I called. When he said go crazy, I wasn't thinking in my mind, again, these are unprecedented times. I wasn't thinking that this video was ever going to see the light of day. But here we are. I'm a man. I have to own up to it. And so that's what I'm going to do. Any questions?
Kenny Payne won those games. Yeah. Kenny Payne is gone. Yeah. You know what Kentucky is? Minus Kenny Payne, 0-1.
I have not stopped laughing since the details of this Mack and Eric Wood video came out. My mom always told me growing up that if somebody's trying to bring you down, that means that they're already below you. Are we really supposed to get upset about something that some nerd from Kentucky Sports Radio hoarded for almost 2 months because he had to wait for a day that Kentucky won and Louisville lost? The only thing that Chris Mack or anybody should have to apologize for is maybe setting a bad example for COVID protocols, but given the circumstances and given who is in his inner circle, this video makes complete sense.
UK minus Kenny Payne, and forever.
Guys, we do have to talk about this North Carolina game, and there are no excuses for a 45-point loss. With that being said, I'm not going to sit here and mull over X's and O's and talk about whether or not Chris Mack should be on the hot seat. That's all rubbish. In the span of 81 days, Louisville had 35 days where they could not practice together as a team. 35. They've only played 12 games in 81 days. So what do you practice when you have a COVID layoff? Well, here's a perfect example. You see Carlik Jones gets isolated on the wing, his man overruns him, he pump fakes, gets him up in the air, easy 2 points. Again, Jalen Withers, his man overruns him, drives towards the lane, pump fakes, easy 2. When you haven't played together as a team for almost 3 weeks and you can only do pretty much just individual workouts, that's exactly the type of things that you work on. Just on Sunday and Monday alone, Louisville matched the number of team practices that they were able to have over the last 3 weeks. Is that in any way making an excuse for losing by 45 points? Hell no. However, some perspective in this situation is required. Louisville had things knotted up at 17, 10 minutes into the game. After North Carolina pushed the lead out to 19, Louisville got the lead back down to 15 to start the second half. There's no easy answers going forward. Look, Louisville has 4 games left in the season, and they're going to have to take care of business in some games that they might not be expected to win. That means that Carlik Jones and David Johnson have to get back to their normal selves before season's end. In addition, Malik Williams has to step up and be that defensive presence that Louisville has needed this entire season. To me, it'll be really interesting to see the first time that Chris Mack's teams have played in desperation mode towards the end of the season. I get that it's probably not what fans wanted nor envisioned, but to say that Chris Mack needs to be on the hot seat during a 2021 COVID season is just ridiculous. Let's talk about some positive news as Bellarmine basketball has extended their winning streak to the 4th longest in the country. In their first Division I season, the Knights are in line to win their conference championship and will be playing their first ever nationally televised game as a Division I program this weekend. Now, a wise man once said that there's no crying in baseball, but that man never had to play the Louisville baseball team in his first Division I season. Louisville swept Bellarmine this weekend in their season opening series. And how about the local kid, Cam Masterman? The North Oldham product had 3 home runs in his first 3 games as a junior for the Cardinals. Now, Masterman waited his turn behind some wily veterans for the Louisville baseball team, and then when it was finally his chance, he had a season shortened and pulled right out from underneath him last year. Well, apparently this prospect pummeler is taking out all his pent-up anger on the cover of a baseball. I'd say earning all conference honors in the first week of the season is probably a good start to the year. And finally, to start the week off right, Louisville lost some depth in the secondary when Marquis Lowry decided to enter the transfer portal. But soon after, Louisville got a huge commitment from Nebraska transfer Luke McCaffrey. And yes, before you ask, he is the little brother of NFL superstar Christian McCaffrey. A consensus 4-star out of high school, McCaffrey was rated as the number 5 dual-threat quarterback going into college. As a freshman, McCaffrey saw plenty of time behind center and even notched 2 starts under his belt. However, if you've been paying attention to the cluster that's been going on in Lincoln since Scott Frost took over, all of their best players have been jumping ship in the offseason. Now, as my colleague Jacob Lane pointed out, Louisville might have just gotten themselves the next Reggie Bonifin. McCaffrey would definitely be well served to put on a little bit more weight upon arrival at U of L, and if he has to sit out a year, it might not be the worst thing to be sitting behind Malik Cunningham. His numbers in Nebraska certainly were not eye-popping by any measure. However, his ability to get it done on the ground should excite Louisville fans. What the heck is going on, guys? Just want to give a quick self-promotion. If you don't already, make sure to go subscribe on your favorite podcast network to all of the State of Louisville podcasts. We have everything from basketball human interest stories, recruiting, basketball coverage, football coverage, and we have the only baseball podcast in the city. Check it out, Apple, iTunes, everywhere podcasts are found.